Hello and happy Monday. I'm Brit and this is Nick beside me, and we are with the Clusterpuck Podcast, part of the MHRT Network. We are coming in hot off a 4-game win streak, going into a game against the biggest jerks in the world. So we're kind of feeling it tonight. We've got an hour until puck drop. So how's it going, Nick?
Oh my gosh, 4 games. It's like finally, even though last season we had like a 20-game win streak,
January,
a long
the
win
month
streak,
of January.
the whole month of January.
Yeah.
So now 4, it seems like, we should have been doing this, but hey, 8-4-1. I'm not going to complain at this point.
Yeah, for sure. It's starting to feel like us again, even though it's not the Avalanche of last year. We've got about a third of our main guys out. It's just it's crazy that we're winning, considering we're half Eagles, half Avalanche at this point.
Yeah, we just who was the defenseman that we just called up today? Was it England? I think it was England.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, how are we doing this? It's like you're up against Nashville and Carolina, which we'll get into. But just like what you said, it seems like half of that roster is Eagles.
We are literally starting to dig into the Eagles depth players.
It's crazy. I just don't understand what's.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
People. I don't know how deep you can go until it's like, okay, well.
But it's working. So, well, and that was one of the questions that I was going to bring up to you just right off the bat was, so Landeskog gets put on to LTIR, same with Darren Helm.
Yeah.
What happens now? Like, do the Avalanche go and look for someone up to trade piece early? Do they just rely on that Eagles depth? It's been.
I don't think we're there yet. I think a lot of it depends on. I mean, Gerard was on the ice today. I'm not sure if he's playing tonight, but Gerard was back today. I don't know. I mean, so you got Helm and Gabe on LTIR, and my understanding was we initially put Helm on LTIR so that we could bring up Bowers, and we got a whole minute and 46 seconds out of him.
Great shift from LTIR,
him. Yeah, that was a cap space move. So.
Oh, it was so sad too, because he had the one great look, right, where he just missed. I think it just rang off the toe of his stick or something like that, and then gets hit, breaks something, and he's out.
Right, as explosive as a minute 46 can be in the NHL debut.
Oh, it just sucked. Oh, I felt so bad for the guy.
Yeah, but it's weird because putting Gabe on LTIR, that's a lot more cap space, as you know. So, but with those guys, they both can be retroactive, so they don't have to stay on too long. It's just a hard time to have those people out, because especially when you've got Sakic is. I've kind of wondered how different GMs make their decisions. They've all got their different ways of doing things, and Sakic is very anti-LTIR, as we could tell last year when they did put Gabe on LTIR. But they're whizzes when it comes to accruing that cap space, and a lot of teams don't utilize that. And so what sucks is when we make these constant moves with Sampo and moving these guys back up and down on the daily is to accrue that cap space. But now that once you have people on LTIR, you're out of luck with you don't get to accrue that cap space. So that does kind of suck for us, because that does have value at the trade deadline. But we're literally to the point where we had to make the decision to skate short or put Helm on LTIR so we could bring up Bowers.
Yeah.
And with Bowers' injury, that goes against the Avs cap because he got injured with us. So as much as you don't want to see a guy hurt, that McFarland was probably also up there like, oh my God, this messes with, it just kind of changes everything, because so tough look. And plus, I mean, that's the most long awaited NHL debut.
I know. He was, I think, where was it that I read? He was the only first rounder from that 2017 draft that hadn't played yet. And I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is great. And a minute later, he's done.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like he's been here forever. I mean, that's the Duchesne, the last bit of the Duchesne trade.
Yeah, that's the last piece there. Like, I just feel for the guy. It's just so sad. But yeah, with
a little Kamenev-ish.
It is, and so I was thinking about that just a little bit today. So our depth it's taken a toll. So luckily, like the injuries that have happened, to Gabe, but that was kind of a preseason thing. Darren Helm, same thing. But like apart from Nichushkin, everyone else has, as far as your main production, I guess I want to say, that's been intact. So that's
good. I mean, we just can't lose one of them.
Exactly. Well, and I was even surprised, losing Nichushkin for the 2 games in Finland plus these 2 that were just happened last week. I was like, man, you could really feel the difference with him not there, especially like on forechecks, crashing into the net, that kind of stuff. You're like, wow, just a month needs to happen faster so he can come back. You just need that to happen, because when he does, I know I'm going to feel this just sigh of relief, just saying, oh, we're back in good hands, more stable ground.
I know. It's amazing, honestly, that we stayed afloat without him, because when you consider he was carrying the team on his back, it seemed, for the first few games.
I think 7 goals he has.
Yeah, and that's
something like
just
that.
Sucks for these guys too, because I mean, Nuke could have, definitely was going to have his own career year, but he could have had a career year for NHL level beyond just his personal. So I don't know, it sucks, but we just got to get everyone healthy. It sounds like I haven't heard even what Helm had surgery on. I don't know why they're keeping that so hush hush. It's not like it's, he's some secret weapon that we got.
I don't know.
But
if he comes back though with a metal arm,
we'll see.
Then he'll be our best player.
And then now we've got McDermott out 6 to 8 weeks, which who would have thought that losing McDermott would be a pain?
I know.
And as much of a liability as he is on defense, he's one of Bednar's boys because he's a back and forth guy. So I don't know, all these guys, if it was time for these guys to play hard and have a good breakout, they're going to get a lot of opportunity.
They've got the chance to do it here. You're absolutely right. And I'm looking at Camp Friendly right now, actually. The bottom line for forward is Sample Ranta, Jason Magna, and Dryden Hunt. Like last season, that was what? Cogliano, O'Connor, and Helm.
Yeah.
And now those, like, 2 of those guys are onto the third line and whatnot. And your defensive pairing, your second defensive pairing, one of them is Jacob McDonald. And the other one is Andreas England, like we just said, was just called up. Now, I don't know that that's a confirmed roster. That's just what's on Cap Friendly.
Okay.
But how crazy that basically you have 5-6 guys out of all your rosters so far that were called up. And guess what? Ben Myers is not one of them.
I know, it's so weird. But
that is so bizarre to me. But
and I don't know how it works if they try to spare the Eagles, because the Eagles are doing well too. So I don't know if they wheel and deal, like, you take him, but please leave us him, or how, I don't know how that conversation goes. And Bednar says he doesn't have anything to do with it. So I'd be curious to know what those conversations look like. Because right now, if I was the Eagles coach and we were rolling along and they just come along and pluck everybody that knows how to skate in our ring, it would get pretty old. It's honestly so impressive how these AHL teams do it and operate with constant line. I don't know.
It's amazing.
We're so used to injuries that the Eagles coach has to be used to just.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I was looking at, and it sparked my interest because the Grizzlies, the Utah Grizzlies here, I was like, wow, out of all this roster, there's only like 2 or 3 that have stayed from the previous season. It's like it's an entire brand new rolled over roster that flips every 1 to 2 years. And I looked at the Eagles and I was like, it's almost the same thing. You get so many brand new people that get called in, and I'm just like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, every couple years they just roll over basically a brand new squad. There are the few that trickle through and stay a little bit longer. But yeah, it's crazy, and they're able to, just like what you said, work with what's constantly happening with all the moves and stuff like that. It's amazing. So
and they seem to do a decent job at it. The Eagles must be doing something right, because we're not getting total bums every time they send up. So it does help having a good AHL team that you're associated with. So but I mean, we can go right into, we had 2 games since our last one. Good feelings. The first game, neither one of them are too much to speak on, and the stuff that seems like it's exciting to talk about is just, it was very odd. That Carolina game was odd, and the Nashville game was just kind of it was very Colorado-y.
It was, and it seemed like more of the sentimental, the feels with the Nashville game was all the off-ice stuff with Pete McNabb and stuff. but it was like, if you got to win that Nashville game for him,
sure.
Because
and the thing is, he mattered to all the Eagles guys too. So it's not like everybody wasn't, everybody was playing for him. So
well, and you saw before that Nashville game, they had Matt Duchene come on, and he was, he's like, it hurts, because Matt Duchene knew him well,
Oh, yeah.
and so it's just amazing how much of a legacy he just moved throughout the league. It's crazy. So this win though definitely felt good for him, and the fact that Mosier was able to hold it together for that game. If it were me, I would have broken down.
I know.
2 minutes, because as soon as they saw, you see just Mosier in the broadcast booth, no Pete McNabb, I lost it. I was done.
Silence was for him.
and the rose on his desk where he used to sit, I was bawling already. It was very touching. But in that game, it was great. You pull out a win, right? Even amongst all the injuries and stuff. So no Bo Byram, no Gerard, no Nichushkin, all that stuff. You play a very solid game, an Avalanche-like game in both these games. Even the only, I guess, couple of hiccups, I guess I'd want to say, is in the 11th hour of the second period. They score a goal. You're up 5-2 still. You're thinking, oh, that's fine. Then they net another one at the beginning of the third period. And that's when, at least for me, as soon as an opposing team gets back-to-back goals to get within a couple, it's even scarier when it's one, but even a couple, that's where I begin to be like, great, we're going to choke away the lead. Because that's what happened with the Islanders.
We don't feel good about 3-goal leads.
And I'm like, so like, is it back-to-back goals that allow the opposing team's momentum to come forward? And is that what's haunting the Avalanche when those types of games? I'm more specifically referring to that Islanders game, because that still hurts.
Yeah.
But is it because of those that they need to just stop momentum? Like, as soon as one opposing team scores a goal, you have to answer back to kill the momentum.
I don't know if they have like a time period breakdown, or if it's a breakdown when you have a goal and then another goal because of the first goal, or if it's more of like periods of time, because it just seems like we always have a chunk of time generally in the second that we can't pull it together. And that was the same story last year. It was always a late start and then a brief period of time, which we scored 4 goals within 6 minutes.
That second period was stellar.
Yeah, we should have been riding that momentum hard, but the Avs, for some reason, they just they do what we talked about last week. They get their lead and then usually tie it down, but I don't know. They faltered a bit on that one. They got a little bit loose, but that also kind of makes me wonder, coming back without Gabe there to settle things.
And it definitely, that's where you can begin to feel the missing pieces, because it's those little buttoning up things that Byram and Gerard, Nichushkin can do to prevent any kind of door opening to lead to a possible choking. You know what I mean? So I think if these newbies can come in and learn to do that, play aggressive, even when you're up 5 points to 1, I'd feel a lot better just seeing that be done, having them learn, than to have this type of thing happen, which, like I said, you didn't think it was going to happen, but it had before. So that's why that little seed of doubt was planted. But in that game, though, the face-off percentage was almost 50%, which you could see, it was kind of black and white versus the game where, I can't remember which one it was, just a few games ago, but we were like 30%.
Carolina, we finished at 30%.
Yeah, and it's like black and white as far as puck possession and being able to utilize that possession. It was just, but this game you were closer. I think you were at 45. Nice. I don't think we'll ever get past 50, honestly.
No, I mean, even 45 at this point feels, even 40.
It feels like a win, man. It does. It does.
Yeah, it's and the reffing for both of these games was a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like Matt got thrown out of a ton of face-offs. Maybe he just always gets thrown out of a ton of face-offs. But it was the Nashville game that he seemed like he got thrown out of a ton.
Yeah, and there were a lot of whistles swallowed. I would agree, but it's you can't necessarily blame refereeing for giving, penalties where it shouldn't be given, or trying to do makeup calls. But at the same time, there were those couple moments in both games where I was like, that should have been a penalty. You know what I mean? It should have been, but you still think you could do fine even without it. But I definitely agree. The refereeing was just weird, just very strange.
Some of them, even for us, it wasn't like it was super one-sided either. Like some soft and some missed. But it's nice to see that. I feel like Mac is controlling himself a little bit better. He doesn't seem so retaliatory, because there was a couple that he could have gone crazy, but Mac played awesome. He had, what was it? I think it was a 3.9 assists on the year. He had 8 shots on goal in the Nashville game, and he got stoned on 2 of them. I mean, he could have very well had 3 goals that game.
Oh my gosh.
With a couple inch of give. So this assist game, his goals are going to pick up, obviously. But it's nice to see that he's cool with this role, because he really is. I mean, the passes between him and Mikko are so incredible that I can't even think about, doing these things, let alone have my body operate to actually do them.
I know.
Incredible. I mean, it's just like, especially like with Mikko, his just next level. That Mikko has gone, I don't know. It's just and he was, I think Ali over here was saying, maybe it was Star of the Week
right here. Yeah,
he is just so good.
It's amazing.
And I'm kind of jumping ahead here. We can probably go into the Carolina game, but that play that he just bullied in the corner. Then
that he hit. It wasn't Martinook, was it? I can't remember, but he checks a guy, knocks him over, and then grabs the puck, draws a penalty, still gets the puck over to Makar, and the goal.
He's just like shaking off puppies, biting his ankles.
It's amazing.
And to have the mind to not fall, let alone sit here and make incredible passes that things happen on. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Mikko is finally, he's leading, he's leading differently in plays. He's always been this good. He's always done stuff. He's always been productive and blah, blah, blah. But he is commanding this year. I mean, it's really nice to see. And the rest of the NHL is noticing for sure. People are talking about him more than ever. And he deserved it a long time. But also, we didn't forget the Nashville game. Georgie's still solid as crap.
I mean, he's great.
We just can't ask for anything more out of him.
Yeah, and like I said, even though the scores show that they'll let in 3 goals here, 2 goals, you can't really pin all of those on him. Maybe
there's some that he'll want back sometimes, but
there are those.
A lot of it is coming from the messier ends of our defense, which as we're missing Girard and Byram. That's too. I don't know. So it's only going to get better, and
it will. I agree.
He's only going to get better with us. I mean, he's still. We weren't even acknowledging Darcy to be out of like the introductory period at this point last year. And Georgia, it's like, he's our guy. Like, that's our guy.
And it's like, okay, this is the guy right here.
It's nice that going through all this, and last year we had a lot of injuries at the beginning too, but it's nice this year that we don't have to go through all this injury stuff and worry about goaltending. Like,
I know.
He just seems spry and quick and
he does.
Youthful, like he could never get injured.
He seems like he's playing like he really enjoys it here. And I think it's because of the position that Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland put him in.
Right, he's respected.
Exactly. It's like you are put in that spotlight immediately, and he's performed. I mean, that Rangers game, he plays against his old team. That was fantastic.
So I know.
He was amazing in that game. But on the flip side of that, even Francouz is doing great.
Right. Yeah.
Like in that Jersey game, you eke that one in, but he shut out everything else.
Yeah.
It was great. It just happened to be that the other team shut you out. Not very good. But he did play here in this Carolina game and was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sure. It was great.
It's nice having 2 reliable competent goalies. I mean, we're not rotating. We're not wondering who's up next.
Exactly. And last year I don't know if it was like skepticism, but when Kemper played, you're like, fantastic, great. You know he's a proven starting goalie. But then when Francouz was in, it really wasn't until the playoffs when he led the Avs basically to win against Nashville and then played essentially the entire Edmonton series to take you to the Stanley Cup.
It's so easy to forget that was him.
But that's the thing, though. It's like that right there is what solidified me to give my trust in him. So whether it's Georgiev, who has gained trust very quickly, or Francouz, who earned it, and by way of his play, and the thing is, he has earned it long time ago. But it was just, for me at least, my full trust went into him there after those series were up and after he obviously won the cup. And he went to prove it in this Carolina game. Carolina was no team to scoff at,
I think we're in a good spot with them. I mean, if you call it a tandem, Francouz has had both hips replaced, and they say, I think it was Bednar that said at the beginning of the year that Georgiev's main thing was that he plays his best, and statistically he plays his best when he's playing a lot, and that when he has long periods of sitting, which you are going to do when you're playing behind probably the number 1 or 2 goalie in the world or upcoming, you're not going to get to play that much. And so I think that with him, like a 2/3, 1/3 play time, keep Frankie's hips good and keep
and it's even gone for proof here. It's Georgiev, as Avatar says, 7-1-1 so far this season, and Francouz has just now got first win of the season, but it's one that is long time coming and stuff like that. So I think as far as goalie tandem goes, we're in great shape.
Yeah, I feel good about it. The best I felt, Grubauer just went on LTIR. Apparently he hurt himself during the Avalanche game. So
yeah, I'm sure he did.
Stuff, I'm sure.
But I will say, though, with that Kraken, though, Martin Jones, he's doing something right with that team, man.
I know. I've always wanted Martin Jones. I've always said.
Crazy stuff, man. But anyway, in this Hurricanes game, like I said, Francouz played great. The defense, or I guess the shot allowances, a Carolina team was very potent with shooting the puck. He limited them to 25 shots throughout the game.
Carolina
it was great.
Is healthy. I mean, their health, for the most part, considering, in relative terms, they're pretty healthy. He faced a possible Stanley Cup matchup in the future. So, I mean, I think that he deserves a ton of credit for that, because really we should not have beat Carolina when you consider who we iced and who they iced. So
looks like Alexa just gave me notification. I think an Amazon package is here. If you heard that ding, that's what it would be.
Go with the one that you've got on there, because
let me do a quick little plug here.
Yeah,
we got our merch out, man. There we got that. Let me take this off real fast. We got the hat.
I know you got on that quick.
Look at that,
man. Got there super quick
got it
too.
All, so
nice.
Yeah, it'll be it's down in the description below if you like. I will say, though, this hoodie is so soft. When I put it on, I was like, oh, this is very nice.
That's all that matters, really.
That is all that matters. So yeah, I think it's great. Nice. Quality is wonderful. So I advocate for it 100%. But anyways, Cale Makar, back to the Hurricanes game real faster. Cale Makar was on hat trick watch early in the game. I wanted him to get it so bad. I was like, whenever he got the puck on the power play, I'm like, shoot it. Just shoot it. You can get it. I just know it. Anyway. That begs the question, though. I want your opinion on this. Does he get a hat trick this season? And if so, does he get more than one?
Yeah, I really do think so. I think that when Gabe is back, I think it'll take about 2 weeks. And then I think we're going to go on a tear before we go on a little downfall before the end of the season. And I think that we are going to be seeing some open nets, which that's kind of where you can close off a lot of hat tricks as a defenseman. So I really think that we're going to open up some serious scoring down in the long run. I really do. And I think that I'd like to see Mac get up there in points this year too, because
Absolutely.
he just was so riddled with bad luck last year between injuries and just crap. So it'd be nice to see him, pad his numbers a little bit. But I really do think I could see Makar getting 3 hat tricks, honestly. I just think that something is going to give with him.
I absolutely believe he's more than capable of doing that. I think he does get a hat trick this season. My only thing that would lead me to say that maybe he doesn't get more than one, which I totally think he's capable of doing that, is his unselfish play.
That's very true.
He is Mr. Nice Guy. It's like, okay, Kale, buddy,
Yeah.
take that shot that you have and just shoot one more.
I know.
It's like if you just shot one more, you knew that one would go in, but he always makes that extra pass and is to be unselfish. But I think,
like Ali says, dude, you'll literally score even if you hit the glass. So
I know
it's like just a charmed individual. That
he can make acrobatic shots. He has inherited Burakovsky's trait from last season, where it seems like Burakovsky could only make shots if A, the net was falling down, B, it zips through the net, C, he's on one skate upside down drinking a Pepsi. So many weird things.
Chaos all the time.
Oh, it was crazy. And then the last bit of this game, the Carolina game, was you hold them to 0 of, I think, 5 on their power play. Fantastic job by the penalty kill. And all this, mind you, with injuries, with people playing brand new to the team, still getting their feet, stuff like that. Very, very crazy, but very, very good for them. In fact, they didn't get to set up shop very often on their power plays. It was hard for them to even get into the zone.
You couldn't even tell sometimes that they were on a power play. Really, it didn't seem like.
Yeah, there was one where. Yeah, there was one where they were getting into the zone. It gets poked away. Cogliano, man, is amazing on a penalty kill. He zips it the other way, fires a shot. There's another rebound. And there's O'Connor. All of a sudden, he hits the shot. It's like, so all of a sudden on that power play, the Avalanche had like 4 or 5 shots, shorthanded, and the Hurricanes had 0. It was a great all around good game.
Yeah,
that they played.
Yeah, it was, and it was nice. I was just reading earlier, we are number 1 on the power play, scoring on the power play in the league right now, which is nice. But I think that the improvement in the penalty kill is a lot more important, because just like 3 weeks ago, we were in a whirlwind of desperation to figure out what was wrong with our penalty kills. So it's nice to get that up.
Hopefully they figured it out, because it seems, and it does help when, they throw up on Altitude TV, they throw up the statistic of how well each opposing team's power play is in the league. And it does kind of reflect on ice. Like Carolina's wasn't the hottest. And you could see it, So it kind of helps, a little bit more of a confidence builder when you're watching it, saying, okay, these guys aren't very good to begin with. So that should give Colorado that, boost needed to stave off power plays, kill them as needed, and even grab a shorthanded goal or 2,
Yeah. Well, and it would be nice. And I still say I really would like to rely not entirely on the power play as much as we do, because in the playoffs, there's not nearly as many power plays. So it's nice to not have to rely on that so much. We've got a hello from Manfredi Velasquez. I don't think I've seen you here before. So hello.
Welcome in. Hope you enjoy the show.
I'm looking to see. I'm listening to see if my kid turns on the game out there really loud. He likes to.
Oh, there you go.
Up stupid loud. So if he gets on here,
we got. we got a game though today. Here in about a half hour, puck drop.
An important one with our future 2C playing against us, our past and future.
No kidding. This is the family feud for me. So my brother,
the Ryan O'Reilly or the St. Louis Blues?
No, he's the Blues. My brother's a Blues fan.
Oh yeah. So did you ask him how he feels about?
Oh yeah.
I did read that O'Reilly wants to stay in St. Louis, which is like, come on.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
It is. But this game has a lot more weight on it than just a division rivalry. It's a family rivalry here as well.
Yeah.
So it will definitely be a fun game to
Have we seen them since the playoffs?
No, this is the first time we'll see this first time we have seen St. Louis this season. So
they're looking for their revenge with their 89.5% save average goalie.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with it. I have no issue with it. But with that, though, the weekly look ahead, though. So this time we have 3 games. One of them, like I said, is here in about a half hour. It is going to be a good week. It's one of them, you just saw them. So the 3 games tonight, St. Louis, and then Thursday at Carolina. So your home and home game is done, right? It's like you won't see Carolina again unless it's at the Stanley Cup final. Like that's the only time you'll be able to see them. And then we get to go to see Mr. Darcy Kemper's new team.
I know,
out there in Washington. This should be a bittersweet game for you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, and they're on a downfall real hard right now. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be nice to beat them. It's hard for me to want Ovechkin to get goals, but not against us is pretty much where it is.
Yeah, it's one of those times, and that's the same thing with me with the Sharks. It's like you want the Avs to win first, but there are so many players so Logan Couture. He's one of my favorite players in the league. Yeah, right? Like any team, anywhere. Tyson Barrie, Logan Couture, and Gabe Landeskog. Those are like my top 3. So it's like you really want to see him do well, but it's like you don't want it to be against the Avs. So that's why you're always like hard cheering.
I know
when they're not playing you.
Everywhere else,
but everywhere else, you're just like wanting them to get a hat trick and stuff like that. It's crazy how certain players do that, even though they never were on your team or were at one point and moved on. Kind of like what you said with Ryan O'Reilly. There are still those fans and those people that are like, we want him to come back, but then
I'm not opposed to it.
Exactly, and but then on the opposite hand of that, you're just like, well, or there could be, I should say, some of those fans that are like, he's gone, he means nothing to me anymore, which is sad, because like with Darcy Kemper and whatnot, he won you a Stanley Cup,
right?
In a one and done season, he wins you a Stanley Cup. So it's like, you don't think there's still that level of gratitude, I guess, if you want to call it that, even though they're
especially the people that don't really leave on bad terms. Like, I know it's the big debate whether we should be booing Matt Duchene, which I'm like, you do you. You can decide whether you want to hate him or not. I'm over it. I feel like the deal's been satisfied. So
we got our cup. So I think it's all dust in the wind at this point.
And I don't know if we could have done it with him. I just, I don't know if he's got the right personality to win with our guys. So
it just seemed like what the chemistry you had last season was the right mixture. And I don't think Duchene quite had. No. He kind of skated to his own beat. You know what I mean? So anyways, but so the weekly look ahead for these 3 games, St. Louis right now is in a very abysmal state.
But somehow beat Vegas,
which it's a good and bad thing at the same time.
Oh yeah, I'd rather St. Louis wins while they're bad and Vegas is good. That's
pretty much
okay for St. Louis, but it's bad for Vegas, so it's not that great for St. Louis, but it's pretty bad for Vegas. So
yeah. So the keys to this game with a downtrodden St. Louis team that, mind you, they are, I believe, coming off a win. They didn't play any games between them. A 2-win streak.
Yeah, but the other one was like San Jose, I think.
San Jose, which
right.
So key number 1 to the St. Louis game is don't let Binnington settle into the crease. Because if you unlock playoff Binnington, it's like a Jekyll and Hyde with him, right? When he is Jekyll, that's like regular season, scrambling to do stuff, lets any kind of goal in, throws water bottles at people, that it's that kind of Binnington you want to face.
He's gonna fight tonight.
Oh geez. I'm gonna say either O'Connor or Comfer. Those two have been getting pretty scrappy as of late.
O'Connor talks some mad crap too. Man,
he really does.
Nice. And I'm like, he's the nicest guy, but man, he must be really good at it because people seek him out.
Oh yeah. So don't let him settle into the crease, talking about Binnington. Because if he allows goals and it gets into his head, he allows more and more and more.
Scoring early would be ideal.
Scoring early would be fantastic. Because like I said, with Jekyll and Hyde over here, when he's Hyde, that's playoff Bennington.
And we don't want to give them the start of that momentum, because beating us would be so much more valuable than mentally for them than the other two wins.
And because it's a revenge factor, it's a division rivalry. It was a very bad termed game. You could tell in that handshake line, there were some players on both sides that really didn't want to shake hands.
Yeah, but St. Louis's cup win, they started that season.
Exactly. So in either sense, though, since they are in your division, don't let them, just like what you said, don't let them get that momentum, so score early. Key number 2, depth on depth play. And this is like what we were talking about earlier in this episode. We have these new guys that have the chance to go out and prove themselves, to go out and produce, to go out and shine. I think this would be the best time to do it, because even their depth, St. Louis's depth, is not very good right now.
No.
So if you have the chance, now would be the game to do it, to really, because they're a physical team, right? They will still hit you hard, but it would be a great confidence booster for those depth players if they could score and have some kind of production, whether if it's a great assist, they draw a penalty, small things like that, and then obviously goals. If they do that, I think they have a great chance to win the game here in about 20 minutes. Third key to the game. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but we need to not be taking stupid penalties on them, because that's definitely, even some of our depth guys. Sampo had a pretty dumb penalty the other night. We need to not feed into them, because that's what the Blues do, is they just bug the crap out of us.
They make you frustrated, which beautifully done, by the way. That plays right into my third key of the game. Let them play frustrated.
Yeah.
Because if you frustrate them, they will make mistakes. And you saw this in the Carolina game. Carolina, they were just undisciplined that entire game, giving off dumb, boneheaded penalties and stuff like that, which led to our production, power play goals, stuff like that. Same thing with St. Louis. Let them play frustrated. They'll do those ticky-tacky penalties. Unfortunately, you don't have McDermott to go fight Braden Shen, but you're going to have to find someone that'll do it. I'm sure O'Connor would be more than willing to step up.
Probably, honestly. Just don't let Mac. I'm not in the mood for
to
break his hand.
Didn't want that last season, but whatever. Those are my 3 keys to the St. Louis game. I think if you do those, again, you're going to be just fine. I really don't have any big concerns other than the physical play and those, kind of like what you said, just those boneheaded penalties that we would commit. That would be the only reason I think they'd stay in the game. And like watching for too many men, that seems to be a thing with us.
Isn't it just, you think these are the most elite hockey players in the entire world, and that's just seems like the one thing that there's no way that they could continually repeat the most juvenile mistake.
And it all started with a phantom too many men call. Isn't that crazy? It seems like after that happened, that's all they got penalized for, I swear, for like 4 games straight. It was so annoying.
And I just think that, I don't know. I think it would be really nice to just kick the crap out of them. Honestly, we like to do that anywhere, but I would love to step on their neck and then just get tighter and tighter throughout the entire game. Because the thing is the Blues are not a scoring team right now. They're not a scoring team, and that they've leaned on goaltending in their successful times, and now they don't have goaltending, which Husso is kicking butt.
Oh my gosh.
Them. So they probably got some regrets, but it's not like they could have gotten out of that Binnington contract anyway. But they don't have Perron, which he's an Avalanche killer, always has been.
He was.
So it's nice to have him gone, because he was an intimidating presence. So it'll be nice to have him gone. But we just we need to come out without injuries, because this feels like a game that we would
This seems like, instead of a trap game where you'd lose the game, this seems like a trap game where you could lose players.
And they know that. They know we're.
Oh yeah, and for St. Louis, what else you have to lose?
Right.
And that's not to say that they're a dirty team now that Perron's gone.
No.
Not a dirty team.
But it's nice they've lost a lot of that identity.
But
nearly as tough.
Oh yeah. But at the same time, you play how the coach does. It's if the coach is kind of more of one of those roughneck kind of people, like Berube is, the team tends to take on that identity, and like you said, they do seem to be losing that because of the key players that left. But if Binnington's still there, if Berube's still there, they're still going to be stick swinging. You know what I mean?
So, and I think who was on their IR? Bertuzzo's out. They're not missing too much, I don't think. So
they're relatively healthy.
But they also just don't have too much. I mean, what was their motto last year? 9 20-goal scorers, 6 20-goal scorers. But
something like
I don't know if they are even going to end up with like 6 3-goal scorers at this rate, because they're just not.
It's crazy.
But so I'm feeling good about this game. I think to me, for some reason, mentally, I'm all about the goalie situation on here, just because I fixate on Binnington, because I just really dislike him.
Yeah, he's a polarizing character, to say the least. Moving on then to Carolina. You just saw them. They were your last team that you played. You have the St. Louis game tonight, and boom, right back to Carolina, except this time it's in the House of Jerks. Which I'm key, what do you call it? Trademarking that phrase if it's not taken already. House of Jerks. Keys to the game: kill their penalties. You just did it. Might as well do it again, because that was a big confidence booster, which led to more goals from us, more goals from us, more goals from us. Do that. They don't have much. Now, granted, it is back at their place. So take away momentum from the crowd, take away momentum from confidence, whatever it needs to be. I think penalty killing will do one of those. Key number 2, and this is going to be because of the St. Louis game, like you said, stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because like St. Louis, they are one of those teams that they hit, right? And they played pretty undisciplined this last game. In fact, I believe some players were pretty banged up and left that game. I think Santoranto, stay healthy, do what you can to maintain your health, because we're limited as it is. We just spent a whole 15 minutes talking about it earlier.
It would be really nice to go into the Carolina game with some healthy people, actually healthy.
It would
have Gerard back. I don't know if
Byron might be back for that game. He might even be back for this game. I don't know.
Even having Gerard back, because I think that this Carolina game could be one that we go in, especially if we won tonight, feeling good and accidentally get our butts handed to us, because Carolina's they're not bad, and they did not play. It's weird because neither team really played to their best the other night. I don't think it was it was a little fluky and a little weird, but they very well could kick our butts, considering who we have out of the line.
Absolutely.
So I would like us to not go in there and lose like 5-1 or something stupid, especially if I'm curious with Georgie playing tonight. I'd imagine we'll probably still see him for the Carolina game, because there's like 2 days between them, and I don't think that that's any issue for him. And then moving into our other game, maybe see Frankie there
against Washington,
because that Washington game is a lot less.
Yeah, and that's a Saturday, and like you said, if you at least give Georgiev the ability to have repetition, so like 2 and then maybe 1 Frankie, or 3 and then 1 Frankie, something like that. But I think a 2-1 is a pretty good clip, at least, so that Georgiev can still have that muscle memory, as it were, and Frankie still gets his playing minutes.
I agree.
Third key to this game, the Carolina game: work on your backdoor passing. There were so many opportunities where we could have won this game 8-1, if it were just a little bit better of a backdoor pass. Carolina had the one great goal, and it was off of, guess what, a backdoor pass. But if we could just get it right on the money. And sometimes it's not the pass, it's the finish. you know, but in either one of those components, if you do that, and this can go for any game, if you could just finish, you know what I mean?
Bring back Gabe.
I know, because he did that so well.
We need him back so bad.
Right now, the best ones that are doing the backdoor passes the best are like what you said, McKinnon and Rantanen, whenever it's with each other, or they are feeding to another player or receiving it from.
And Rodriguez, man.
Oh, yeah. Same thing.
He's one of the dudes. I think he's going to stay. I think he's one of us. I think that
I think he's liked this team enough that he will stay as well.
He looks happy, and he looks on it, and he's I mean, it looks like he's doing everything. He's moving up and down lines. I mean, you got to be flexible right now, which I'm sure he was with the Penguins also. It's not like they don't have their injuries. They're about as bad as us. So it's nice to see him fitting in so well when we thought we had a dud there for a minute.
Yeah, and a 1-year deal, which was kind of strange. But at the same time, maybe he was just testing the waters. But I think he's at a point now where he's like, yeah, I want to sign like a 4-year deal. Kind of like with Manson and Lehkonen, you know, where they tasted half of a season. Granted, winning the cup kind of helped. But they were like, nice with
Manson. He's kind of on that struggle bus lately. So
he is.
Nice to see him pull it out a little bit.
It would be great to see him net a cup.
But who's he playing with? I mean,
he is going to be, at least as far as cap friendly would go, he would probably be with Jacob McDonald.
That's a gnarly.
That is, man.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So yeah, we'll just see. So last game here to wrap it up at Washington on Saturday. I believe it's Saturday. Key to the game number 1 against the Capitals. Show Darcy Kemper what he's missing.
Yeah.
The only reason, and then like I said, this isn't like a revenge game or anything like that, but just come by and say, you know, this is how well you were with us. I don't want to necessarily, it's kind of like with Grubauer when he left and stuff like that. It's like when you play them, make them hurt, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just let him, just show him what he's missing. Fire shots on net, because we had a season with him where you knew his flaws. And they practiced with him for an entire season. I'm sure they remember exactly how his style of play is.
His flaws are loud this year. My God, the guy is kicking in a goal on himself every.
Yep.
So bad. Yeah.
So, key number 2, pace. Washington is an old team. Older, I guess. I know they have some younger players and whatnot right now, but they are still an old.
Yeah, they're pretty old.
So if you can outpace them, you're going to be just fine. I think the goals will speak for themselves against Kemper. But if you're faster, you're better.
I would be curious though if they don't play Kemper, because their backup is that Lundgren?
Lundgren.
I think that I might have the total wrong name here because I've been doing too much goalie stuff lately. But
I'm sure Allie will look it up.
Real good.
Allie is really good at the behind the scenes fact checking.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled a Kraken and just put the backup in and not, you know,
never play the former team. Rule number
totally
1.
Fair,
Lindgren.
Honestly.
Yep.
Lindgren.
There you go. Lindgren. Got it.
Okay.
See, we knew Allie would pull through.
Yeah.
She's got like 4 computers at the ready.
But yeah, they might put him in, especially because I think Kemper's last 2 games were really rough. I was watching something pretty rough.
Yeah.
Which I can't wish bad. I was pretty petty about Grubauer, but it's really hard for me to wish anything bad for Kemper. So I'd almost rather
just because the guy's very charismatic. He's never frowning, you know. So it's like
usually those nice guys don't want to play goalie and be the.
Mm-hmm.
It's those brutal Russians that do so well.
Yeah, well, we got one of our own. I think he's actually Bulgarian.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, but I think he played for Russian hockey. I mean,
that would make sense.
Allie spent a few seasons with him there with the Rangers. So once again, Allie, we're going to call on you here. But he is Bulgarian, but you know, Russian, everything else. It's just
definitely a lot more serious than Kemper.
Yeah, definitely. Point number 3, win scrums against the boards. And this is just one of those times where it's not necessarily against Washington that it's the problem. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that whenever there are real fast so people can see that. It's just the fact that I've noticed against the boards in any game, someone pins it and then it jars loose, and I swear 9 times out of 10 it's the other team that comes away with the puck possession. So it's like you've got to figure out, maybe have someone on either side, one man that's with the puck trying to jar it loose, and then 2 on either side. I'm not sure, but if you win those scrums against the boards, you get the puck possession, and we are better off with the puck. We tend not to make mistakes with it, giveaways, really poor ones, unless EJ just has a brain fart for some reason, but win scrums against the boards. And this would be a great time to do it, just because they're an older, slower team. Practice on them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just do something to get those pucks essentially off the boards and into our own sticks.
Yeah. Which might be something that is telling of how many amateurs we have out there, how many AHL guys, because they're a little bit more cautious in the boards, other than Bowers apparently, which I think he hurt his wrist on the fall to the ground versus the hit into the boards, which was pretty weird. But I don't know if they'd be a little more hesitant on that stuff or what. But yeah, we need to not get bodied in the boards with this older team, because our puck possession is going to lead to passes. So if we can keep the puck possession I can't even talk, to goals, we can outskate their passing. So the key is just keeping puck possession.
Yeah. And I was even thinking about like putting on another key to the game as just like keep Ovechkin out of his office, because he does.
No, I swear that's becoming Mac and Rant's office.
It seems like it nowadays. So maybe make it your own office. But it just seems like with Ovechkin, that it seems like right there is where he scores the most. But
he's been doing it for 20 years, and somehow he hasn't been stopped. He's still doing the same thing beautifully and just perfectly. It's incredible.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the keys to the game for the 3 games of the week. I think honestly, these are all very winnable games.
For sure.
I think the only one that would catch my eye is the Carolina second game, just because
it would be nice to come out of this game feeling good and roll into that game feeling good. Maybe get someone back, have Gerard back.
Oh yeah,
that would definitely be a good morale boost.
But yeah, by this time next week, in our episode next week, we could be looking at a 7-game win streak.
That would be pretty sweet.
Fantastic. Winning month of November this time. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, theirs is a very streaky year. It's crazy how many teams are on long winning. I think Penguins dropped 7 in a row.
Yeah.
What was Vegas at before their loss to St. Louis? Were they at 10?
10-2, something like that. They were crazy good.
They need to stop doing that immediately. No I could not handle a Vegas run, especially led by Eichel. It just
I know.
Anyone.
Crazy.
But them. And then the Devils, man, do you think they're fake?
Not this year. They're not this year, but maybe next year, where it was just a one-off. That's my guess.
And they just that Akira Schmidt, he's one of my Musketeers players that they just put in. Yeah, so we'll see. It's hard for me to want them to lose, but want him to succeed. So torn on that one, but
definitely. So, yeah, we got puck drop here in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to wear our beautiful third jerseys. I want them to release the reverse retro schedule. I haven't seen one yet. So I don't know.
No, I
don't know when they're going to wear it. So I'm just like, so when are we wearing it?
I don't know. It's weird to me that darks are at home now, because that was it was never like that when I was younger.
It was the opposite.
Yeah. Yep. No idea when it changed, but
yeah.
I suppose, is that everything we've got for today?
I believe that's it. I don't have any additional comments, so I'm ready to go turn on TV, pop my slippers on, and watch some hockey.
All right. Well, thanks everybody who joined us today. If you like what you saw, find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the channels. We are the Cluster Puck Podcast, part of the MHRT Network, and you can find us again next week. We'll be live. I don't think we have a game on Monday night. That there's one coming up that interrupts us for time.
I think next week we actually do.
Okay, so we'll put it out there. We'll figure out
put it out
early or the day before probably. So
yep.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us again. I'm Brit, and that's Nick, and you guys have a wonderful week, and hope you enjoy the game coming up here.
Go Avs, go, baby.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
'Cause this party is over.